money, as you can see. Franklin grew up on this beautiful piece of property. He was extremely good looking, and he was well traveled. By the time Franklin was 15, he had been back and forth to Europe 8 times. By ship, of course. Now, he went to Harvard. He was well connected that way. And at the age of 39, he had the big family that he wanted. Now, he grew up as an only child that was a little bit lonely. So Franklin and Eleanor had 6 children altogether. One died when he was a baby. But they had a daughter and 4 sons who lived to grow up. Well, by the time Franklin was 39, his youngest son was 5, so their family was complete. Now, Franklin also had a promising political career ahead of him at this point. He patterned his life after that of his cousin Theodore. And everything Teddy Roosevelt did, Franklin tried to do. That was his absolute, that was his absolute idol and hero and role model. And like him, Franklin served as Assistant Secretary of the Navy. Franklin had that job during World War I. And on the way up to his car, he was followed by the Episcopal Bishop of Washington. And the bishop said to him, he said, "You know, Mr. President, we have President Wilson buried here, and Admiral Dewey, and several other famous people, and we were hoping you might make some arrangements so that when the time comes, in the time." And Franklin just nodded and smiled and jollied him along, and went back in his car, and he couldn't believe the conversation either. And on the way back to the White House, his own dad, which is not only the Protestant senator, still Protestant senator. And when he got back to the White House, he called in Francis Perkins, the Secretary of Labor, and said, "Francis, you'll see us and bury me in that cathedral. I'm going to be buried in my mother's rose garden." So this has been a rose garden for over 100 years, maintained by our great Park Service staff. President and Mrs. Roosevelt are not buried under the big marble marker with their names, but next to it. President Roosevelt's grave is the one with the flag. Eleanor Roosevelt is buried next to him. Now, Franklin is buried like any other military veteran. He rates that as Commander-in-Chief. Eleanor's grave is the one that's closest to us. There are 2 other creatures buried in the Rose Garden. His famous little dog, Fala, is buried under the sundial. There's another family pet, a German shepherd named Chief, who's also buried under the sundial. And I don't take you in there because the grounds here are open till sunset, and we encourage you to go in after the tour. And I always tell people, remember how Tom Brokaw said that the people who fought the greatest generation, the people who fought World War II were called the greatest generation? Well, if that is true, that's true, and it's largely because this man brought out the best in them. So please think about that. And follow me again, I'll introduce you to Springwood, which got its name back in the days when houses were given names of their own. Well, now in 1867, James Roosevelt, that's Franklin's father, bought this property, and he lived here with his first wife. That was a lady named Rebecca Hyde. Well, James and Rebecca had a son of their own, and they didn't want to name him, well, they did want to name him after his father, but his father didn't like the junior that people sometimes put on their names, so they named him James Roosevelt Roosevelt. He was known as Rosie. Well, Rosie grew up to be a minor diplomat and philanthropist. Mostly he enjoyed being a country squire. He married Mrs. Astor's daughter, so he never had any financial worries. Well, so then Franklin had a half-brother who was 26 years older than he. Well, Rosie's mother died when she was in her 40s, and James, as a widower, went to a dinner party at the home of Theodore Roosevelt's mother in New York City. And while he was at that party, he met a young woman there that he liked a lot named Sarah Delano, and he began courting her. Well, at first, Sarah's father didn't approve because James was in his 50s, but Sarah was in her early 20s. But Sarah didn't seem to mind. She liked James a lot. After a while, Mr. Delano got to like James too. And Mr. Delano later said that James Roosevelt was the first person he ever met who made him realize that a Democrat